uh, moving away from collegiate esports, it was a big decision for me. Pero I mean, I had no choice because I graduated. Pero once we found si Solis, actually he was one of two possible replacements, no, but eventually siya yung pinili. And at first it was medyo shaky, yung base niya kasi it wasn't that high. But like we've seen the stats, it was just flashed right now. Grabe talaga yung performance niya, and there was a tweet recently, a tweet template yung bibigyan mo ng number tapos you'll say something good about the player. Sabi ko sa kanya, I think I'm one of the most, or if not the most, yung pinaka-proud sa kanya for the growth that he's been showing. So I have nothing bad to say about this guy.
Yeah, Sol is definitely one of the mid laners here in Predator Alliance League to watch out for, and it's really interesting then because I've seen him play before. But right now he's facing a very promising rookie from HAU. It's gonna be HAU Parzival, and if may stats din si Parzival, I think we could show it as well. But if wala, okay lang. Let's talk about Parzival a little bit. Parzival throughout the four games that they played during the group stages, they're 2-2, and there were a lot of issues to look at, but also a lot of bright moments to see as well. And this is very common in rookie, especially yung makikita mo that they're really feisty. Sometimes it forces them to make mistakes as well. And for being a rookie mid laner against a lot of veteran mid laners, like veteran na si Solis, that's ilang years na sa UPD. How do you enter a mindset where you know that you need to prove yourself in your first season?
I think it's just a matter of not trying to take on more than you should in your head. I think it's important for you to realize na yes, you can play your best. Yes, you can try to go for these outplays, ganon. Pero it's important that you also trust your team, trust how your dynamic goes in the team. And what's most important is you do your job. So you don't have to overreach. Kasi that's where it usually happens eh. When a player overreaches, nako, doon nagkakamali. Doon nagta-turn yung tables.
Alright, and let's go straight to the draft right now. The first ban for Oblation Esports would be this Ezreal. And Ezreal, really one of the best AD carries right now, paired with, of course, Caitlyn as well in that S tier. The moment this Ezreal gets that Death's Dance, I mean, nakita mo naman na kung anong kaya nun gawin, right?
Yeah, so Ezreal, it's not only is it one of the best, it's also arguably blind pickable talaga. So it can be played against whatever comp, used in whatever comp. And to follow that, we do see that set ban to as an answer, and it's also a flex pick, so it's a good ban in my opinion. Vladimir seems to be a target ban because it's easily counterable naman. But then if you know that one of the players in the other team is a beast of a Vlad, you don't want that in scaling into the late game and becoming a monster that he is there for team fights.
Yeah, I have to agree with you over there. Vladimir, really one of the late game monsters in this game right now. One of those champions that could really scale up to a point that even if you have all of these items that remove healing or maybe just lessen them, grievous wounds, it won't matter. The damage that this Vladimir can just straight out put on the table by late game every 3 seconds, and sheer survivability as well. It's really something that no one else in the game could match. Unless, of course, you're talking to a Kassadin. Damage-wise, you could definitely burst down this Vladimir, but Vladimir banned right now, and it's an obvious target ban for Parzival. But looking at the bans coming in from Valiant Esports, though, Caitlyn out of this game as well, with the Lucian as well. And Yobu has been playing a lot of Caitlyn throughout the group stages.
Yeah, and I think I've had the chance to talk to the coach of UPD. I mean, we are close friends, and he said, si Yobu, anchor talaga yan. If you let him kite, if you help him survive, he can carry team fight. So banning that Caitlyn off of him is a good start. But HAU actually decides to take the bottom lane duo as their first rotation, Saya Rakan, which has always been solid throughout like how many patches, how many seasons.
Yeah, I mean, always has been. Always has been.
May forever for this.
Yeah, may forever talaga. Saya Rakan. And this has been nerfed, buffed, adjusted so many times, but still very, very, I mean, the utility that they bring together, the engaged potential coming in from Rakan, the self-sustain coming in from the Saya. I mean, sobrang ayos lang nila. It's a very versatile, very strong duo in the bot lane. But for Oblation Esports, they draft a Sivir. This is the first time that we'll see a Sivir in Predator Alliance League. I'm quite sure sa lahat ng mga kinast, wala pang nag-lock in ng Sivir. So, we all know that Coach Red is actually the one drafting here. This is a draft pick that I am a little bit iffy of. A Sivir pick in this meta.
Yeah, I'm also a bit surprised because we do know that the Jhin is still open, right?
Yeah, and Ashe as well.
Ashe as well. So, interesting that Sivir was locked there. Maybe they're going for some sort of synergy in their ultimate draft. But there is that Shen. So, Sivir with Spell Shield combined with Stand United. That's a lot of like invisible defensive threat. I'm not sure how to place that. But there's a lot of things that can transpire naman for the first 3 picks because they do round out their first half of the draft with that Thresh, and Thresh can do a lot. And by the way, this is Alto on Thresh. He's known to be, he's been performing really well. Siya yung primary shot caller ng UPD. Siya yung nagko-call ng rotation. So him on this Thresh is gonna be pivotal for this team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a matchup to watch as well in the bottom lane because Kaidan and Kinzon over there in the bottom lane of Valiant Esports. We all know that Kinzon a very competitive player. We've seen him around in our amateur scene as well, in her pro scene as well before. Quite a short stint though, but still, Kinzon, it just goes to show that he has the experience, he has the competitive experience to back it up. So let's see if that's more than enough to match the bottom lane of Oblation Esports. And if Kaidan, no, I'm not quite sure if he's still a rookie at this point. Madadala kaya? Because ito yung problema eh. For me, mas okay na AD carry mo yung rookie, pero yung support mo, veteran. I feel like it's a big difference. Because looking at how the dynamic works in the bottom lane, I feel like Kinzon should focus more on his micro abilities rather than macroing the support. It's not his job anymore. But let's see if Kaidan is able to match the intensity that Kinzon brings. I mean, I'm quite sure it's been 2 weeks. First, it's been 2 weeks since we had League of Legends action here in Predator Alliance League, and I'm quite sure that Kinzon and Kaidan, they practice their hearts out to match the bot lane of UPD.
Of course, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Syempre, semifinals na yun, and basically, you're at the doorstep na to winning it all. So for sure, nagpa-practice talaga mga to. And we do see HAU opting to ban some global pressure in the form of Galio and TF. And or actually, all mid lane bans to. Nangyari sa second phase ng pick and ban natin. So Hecarim on the side of HAU, Sylas getting picked for the side of UPD. With that, Camille. So, very interesting for me. Yung Sylas pick, he will be able to steal the ultimates of Hecarim, of this Rakan, which are really game-changing ultimates. But Sylas for me, especially in collegiate, unless you're like a god at Rakan, I mean in Sylas rather, medyo hit or miss siya for me as a pick.
Yeah, really one of those champions that needs a very good player to be enabled to carry games. But there's a lot of Sylas builds right now that really puts a spotlight on the heroes or the champions' versatility. Sylas right now, pwede ka mag-max Q, pwede ka pa rin naman mag-max W, but man, Cassiopeia yung katapat niya. It's so hard to dash around when you have a Cassiopeia, and not only that, once you go all in against the Cassiopeia, you need to make sure that you win that trade, because the moment that Cassiopeia lands at least one noxious blast in you, the Twin Fangs will just hurt.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. So, well, the comps have been rounded out. They've been finalized by both teams, and it looks like both of the comps that these teams have managed to secure do have their own win conditions. It seems like they are well-rounded in their own way. Magkaiba ng konti. There are certain different interactions. Like you said, it's gonna be probably hard for this Silas to face off against this Cassiopeia. There's a lot more agency for the bot lane, because it's not only Rakan who can get a CC off. The feathers from Saya can as well, with well-placed feathers. Whereas yung Xavier, follow-up damage lang siya. For top lane naman, carry, Grindel. Finally, actually, Grindel on a carry. Usually, ang nilalaro niyan, or not even usually, parang all the games. Orange Duty. Maokai Duty. He's on a carry na. So, the confidence, coming into the semifinals, it's there. So, I'm really excited to see how this plays out in the top lane especially.
Yeah. But bago tayo magsimula dito sa match, we miss this, Mikey. We miss this so much, Berserk. We're finally gonna see Shamey once again. Kung magiging tama na ng Bamba ang prediction niya for this match. Actually, this is a match prediction na. There's so much. Look, iba na yung ano natin. Oh, Shamey, is
dynamic.
This the Shamey butt? Is this the Shamey neck?
Tayo
Tayo yung mananalo. Tayo yung mananalo.
Let's go, Obi.
Let's go. Tayo yung mananalo. Tayo yung inaamoy ni Shamey. You know what? It's true. Lahat tayong nonod ngayon ng Academia are the real winners. But let's see kung sino bang mape-predict niya dito. Oh? Wait a minute. Sniffing? Okay. Sniffing over HAU, though. He's drinking a 3-0 sweep.
Sweep? Okay. Tapos pipiliin niyo yung team after this, I guess, right?
Yeah. But
there's food. There's
right.
Hedgehog food lang.
Alright. 3-0 sweep.
3-0.
So, she already had a drink. Now for the food.
Thirst has been quenched.
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh Lord. Hindi pa siya nagko-commit. He's sniffing around the area.
Yeah. Testing the immediate environment. Okay.
Looks like this is a commit, my dude.
Commit yata to.
Okay, just sniffing it still, not yet taking a bite. He's not yet taking a bite.
Did he? No.
No, he hasn't taken a bite.
He's marking his territory.
He's taking his time. All right, you know what? Round two.
It is an important match, It's a semi-final, so Shamey.
It's actually a commit now. Is he choking? Is he choking? Yo!
Okay. Kala ko niluwa niya or something, but yeah, that's gonna be a commit for the UPD Oblation Esports squad, no? Took a while, but Shamey 3-0. Very bold prediction.
Okay, wait. I feel like meron din tayong maybe yung Shamey choking. I feel like there's a correlation to what's gonna happen in the game. But you know what, Shamey? Foreshadowing na to. Let's look at the stats of Kinzon earlier. Pinag-usapan natin on how historically decorated player to si Kinzon. I mean, a lot of appearances in pro and amateur scene. And right now, in the rankings for Predator Alliance League, KDA ratio, CS per minute, not that impressive, but he is always the first in damage share and kill participation.
Yeah, and what this means is he does a really good job at surviving in team fights. Parating siya nagde-dish out ng damage. And you know what's surprising? UPD didn't actually opt to ban out any of his like hyper carries in the form of Saya and Tristana. So I guess in terms of their perception, he's not that of a threat, but it's kind of arguable because it can also, you could say na he's the best player on HAU. Siya yung may experience in the professional scene, so that's a consideration. And si Red Plank naman, on the other hand, they did take away his Shen pick, right? And Gangplank was left open. He didn't opt to take it. nor did he not take the Darius too. But in terms of performance, he's been there too. He's been a pillar for HAU. And we'll just have to see, because I feel like both of these teams did their job naman in preparing for their draft.
Yeah.
So,
and not only that, for Zerk, 2 weeks is a long time. These players, hindi natin alam, they might have improved so much that they could really be different players right now. This is from their past stats. And looking at Alto, second on both KDA ratio and gold per minute. This just goes to show that efficiency-wise of being a support, hindi siya kadalasang namamatay, and nakakakuha din siya ng yung gold share niya, napakaayos din. And consistency is key. And this just goes ever since Neep left in UPD, Alto always had this big shoes to fill. And
yes.
I think Alto, it's already safe to say that he filled in that shoes more than enough. Like, he didn't replace Neep, he just became his own self in the team.
Yeah, and that's great. You can't have the exact same player again and again naman. And iba-iba ng mga players natin dito. And it's really nice to see the growth being exhibited over time of all of these players.
Yeah.
And it's not just Alto, everyone on the team.
And not only that, for HAU as well, right? I mean,
for HAU
throughout the group stages, them surviving, and this is a whole team carried at the back of Kinzon, because Kinzon is really this leader that they need, and lagi namang napo-provide ni Kinzon yung pwede nilang, their whole thing going on for them. So again, for viewers over here, game 1 pa lang ng UPD versus HAU, and this is a best of 5 series. So kung taga HAU ka, taga UPD ka, magtawag ka ng mga tropa nyo, dahil kailangan ng team nyo, ng university team nyo, ng suporta nyo, dahil best of 5 series to. And man, this is looking to be one of those games that maaalala natin, for one of those series rather, na maaalala natin for a long time.
Yeah, and looks like to start this game, both junglers are opting to start on opposite sides of the map. So mukhang hindi sila magtutugma dito, and this gives the innate advantage to bot lane for UPD and top lane for HAU. But we'll have to see anong magiging path na tong dalawa. And by the way, Chen jungle, this is a bit peculiar for most, I would say, but this has been used in the pro scene. So hindi to parang troll pick kung isipin nyo yan.
And looking at the mid lane, ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina for Zerk. The moment na matamaan ka ng Noxious Blast, that twin fang from the Cassiopeia would just hurt a lot. So let's just hope that Solace, he is running the fleet footwork keystone, he will be able to survive a little bit for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And something interesting I see is Kinzon actually opting to take Cull for his first item in the bot lane. So he really wants that gold advantage, pero yung trade-off niyan, of course, in lane hindi siya ganun kalakas. And that kind of gimps the bot lane.
Oh no! Parzival out of mana, but the Hecarim is there. Solace looks to be in trouble. The flash is burned out. The red buff, that's going to be the auto attack, finishing him off. The first blood going to HAU.
So itong problema sa Sylas pick, very linear siya, in the sense that once he dashes in, it's really hard for him to go out. So you really have to pick the moments in the times where you choose to go in for a trade. And that was not a good time to go in for a trade, because Corgi just went in and ran him down.
Yeah, the Hecarim really deals a lot of damage early on. All throughout the game, talagang masakit tong Hecarim, especially when he has bonus movement speed. I'm quite sure he is running Face Rush, so ang hirap talaga takasan nun. Solace burning the flash, burning the teleport. Now, he has to play a little bit more careful, but in the top lane, that could be the hook shot landing on Crane though. But looks like, that's gonna be a 2-man knockup coming in from the Rakan. The hook landing on Kinzo, no cleanse is available. He took the flash, but that's gonna be a 2-man snare, and the ricochet not actually landing. The boomerang blade rather, still no kills for UPD.
Yeah, the taunt actually missed there, but the hook from Alto landed, which led to the flash of Kinzon being burned. So overall, good play from UPD right there. But I expect these junglers to punish these champions with no flash. Semifinals to, you really want to make the most of the plays that you make. So to do that, one of the most common things that these junglers can do, just keep ganking the lane na walang flash yung champion.
Yeah, and telegraph tong Shen, I saw pings on the bottom lane, pinging na nandito si Levi. They know that Levi is here. They're playing carefully and they're already expecting this. The hook, it doesn't land on Kinzon, almost getting that kill if tumama lang yung hook shot na yan. Rather than death sentence.
Yeah, you were right. Actually, alam nga nila na pabot yung Shen. Corgi was able to pop that plant showing top side was clear. So galing dun yung Shen initially. And yeah, but early game advantage mukhang nandito nga sa HAU. Almost 1k, no? 600 gold lead is a considerable amount. But we do see right now Hecarim is pathing bot side. Not sure if UPD expects this at all.
Yeah, and bottom lane though, they're quite safe already, but look at this mid lane. Solace just getting poked down by Parzival. That Noxious Blast, threat pa lang. That Noxious Blast already puts a threat on him, and pag natamaan siya, now he has to make sure na hindi siya matatamaan ng Twin Fangs. But here's the weakness of Cassiopeia though. Early on, especially if tier pa lang yung item niya, ang bilis maubusan ng mana niyan. But looks like HAU will be able to sneak out a Cloud Drake out of UPD.
Yeah, really good call actually from the jungler of HAU if he was the person who made that call. Maybe Kinzon, but they did have the bottom side push, so it was a free take for them. Shen was called to be top side because I'm pretty sure Corgi knew that that's where he started, so most likely he would have been there by now. So just overall good shot calling, good dragon take. First Drake over to HAU.
And it's gonna be a Cloud Drake, so ibig sabihin nun, more ults coming in from Corgi, more ults coming in from Red Flag. That definitely benefits Red Flag the most. Death Realm is what makes Mordekaiser, so that's really great for HAU right now. Next Drake though, it will be an Ocean Drake. I feel like UPD would want to take that away from HAU, but looks like a fight in the bottom lane. That's a 2-man knockup coming in from Kaidan. Looks like the smite will be used by Levi to secure that rift, that scuttler instead.
Yeah, so a bit of a small CS lead here for Levi, jungler of UPD on this Shen. And I'm very interested to see how they actually make use of this Shen later on in the team fights, because he can use Stand United onto Camille as a form of going in, diving the backline. They want to kill Parzival, they want to kill Kinzon, they can use it defensively. They can even not use it first and use Shen as a form of engage. So very flexible yung pick na to actually if you think about it.
Yeah, and the only downside for a Shen pick in the jungle is it takes more time to ramp up the tankiness. It takes a little bit more time considering that you are running that press the attack, but early on, you deal a lot of damage. Press the attack plus your, Shen's Q abilities, just a lot of damage, especially pag natamaan ka ng Spirit Blade.
Yeah, that's true. So, Shen will definitely take some time to ramp up. But speaking of that, looks like this Sivir pick has been working out for UPD so far. We were a bit surprised in the start to see this getting picked over Ashe, over Jhin, but looks like Yobu here, being the veteran that he is, he's doing a good job so far playing the lane out versus this veteran Kinzon.
Yeah, and both veterans at the AD carry slot right now, and ang pinakaiba lang, rookie si Kaidan, and Alto is already one of the best supports historically for Collegiate League. But looking at what's happening throughout the map, Kaidan has been knocking up 2 people at once for several times already, so you gotta give him that. But Rift Herald though is started by HAU. They already got the first Drake. Ipapamigay na naman ba to ng UPD?
Yeah, looks like they're not in the position to contest because Halter is here stuck in the bot, and on the other hand, it's a full rotate actually. The bottom lane of HAU has been sent to top, and it's a commit. After Herald, they don't switch back or anything. It's a full commit. So hook lands.
Death Realm is available, but actually used on Alto, so it's gonna be a short 1v1. But let's hover over the mid lane again. That's gonna be the Stand United used on the mid lane of UPD, but Parzival still secures that kill in the mid lane. Rift Herald will be used in the top lane as HAU is just putting all of the pressure around the map. That's all lanes, all fights.
You know, I was really close to saying mukhang naging slow game all of a sudden after that first blood. And then suddenly was first to pull the trigger, first to make that proactive play, sending their bot lane to top side. And like it shouldn't have happened. Like pressure coming in from the bot side of HAU, it shouldn't have happened because solo lang to si Mordekaiser. But because of that death realm, he was able to isolate one dude, si Alto. While on the top side, natalo pa rin yung UPD. So overall, net win talaga to for HAU. As we do see Parzival, wala siyang resources to stay.
What is it with Esports, Akad Arena, Alliance League, and Wraith camps, and Raptor camps rather? Ang dami ng biktima ng Raptor camp. I swear, this is like the 4th time na nakita akong may nabiktima ng Raptor camp. What the happening?
I don't know, but mukhang makakabalik naman on time in time si Parzival sa lane. Pero maybe he needed that extra gold to buy the Archangel stuff.
Yeah, I feel like yun talaga. Like, kunin ko lang yung malaki sa'yo na yung maliit. Nakipag-bargain pa sa jungler.
You know, it's a pretty big deal getting that early Archangel stuff. So, mas mabilis yung pag-turn yan into Seraph's Embrace, more teamfight battle power, no? As we do see, second Drake already spawning and HAU is first to the scene.
Yeah.
Looks
and
like
this is gonna be fast.
UPD, Levi is over at top side. Walang contest to.
What is happening to UPD? They've given up 3 major objectives in the map, and that's going to be the Death Realm used on Crandall. And Crandall underneath the tower, will it be enough safety though? The shield isn't up for Camille just yet, and that's going to be the mace, ending the life of Crandall in the top lane, but the Shen is there. The dash, it doesn't land. That's going to be Red Flank already low in HP, but Solace dash in, abscond, abduct. That's going to be a lot of damage, but looks like Onslaught of Shadows will be securing Levi in the back line. Corgi looks to be the next target though, as Solace is finding a way to kill that horse. Kill that horse! That's going to be the stun, landing on both mid laners, but the damage is just way too real for Parzival, as that's going to be 5 kills ahead against UPD. HAU taking control.
That again, as often as I've been saying it shouldn't have happened. Red Flank was there in top lane solo for so long. Most of the members were HAU were busy on the Dragon, but he gets a solo kill onto Crandall. It started out as that way. Trade kill nga dapat ang makukuha ni Solace, but instead of finding a horse, he finds a snake. Siya yung namatay doon. So I feel like UPD is flustered right now. They're not really sure what they have to do to stem the bleeding.
Yeah, and they have to find a solution to this quickly, because Parzival on this Cassiopeia, it will not scale down. Kumbaga, the longer this game goes, mas lalang nagsasakit to si Parzival on this Cassiopeia. And for Solace, he has to make sure that he at least completes his first item na, because looking at how naka-Archangel stuff na and other stuff like that, I feel like just a little bit more gold, magkakaroon na siya ng GLP 800, and that's massive. That extra slow will always help out not only himself, but the entirety of his team. Shen trying to pull some stuff here in the bottom lane. Solace spotted by Control Ward. On the hunt, still not available. Medyo malayo pa si Sivir over there, and that was just HAU playing it safely.
Yes, good warding from how they're actually the wards were able to save the day for their bot lane. And because they were able to stop this proactive play that UP wanted to do, then kumbaga, okay, it's our turn again. So we'll have to see ano bang magiging rotation ng HAU dito na natigil yung attempted advance ng UPD. But
oh no, in the bottom lane though, that's gonna be the Stand United used. And Alto, the hook is dodged with the Feather Storm, and Corgi is there. The teleports are coming down. Red Flank is there as well. Solace using the Death Realm ult. Not yet though. He needs to choose a target if ever. That's gonna be the Death Realm used on Levi underneath the turret. One more auto attack may steal his life away, and that's gonna be the Flash Bird for Red Flank. That's a 1-for-none trade, and looks like the turret is next as Parzival is walking towards that. Gonna be the Cassiopeia Miasma landing on 2. Grounded is the Sivir. Can't dash out. A 2-man stun. Parzival making things happen for the side of UPD. That's a return kill over. That's gonna be Kaidan down as well, but still, a one kill for a lot, and hindi pa nga tapos. Solis still there. The dash is there. The heals not so much. That's gonna be the root. That's gonna be the kill. Parzival on a rampage.
This is again UPD. I feel like they're feeling the pressure of they have to make something happen, but like you said, at that moment in time, hindi pa buo yung GLP nung ni Silas over here. There was a TP up from Grindel. He did not decide to use it. Hecarim was still extremely but he was much stronger than Shen at that point in the game. So a 4v4 with that item
Wait
stick,
a minute
not
though,
a good
that's
idea.
gonna be the teleport burned for Crandall. Parzival looks to be in trouble. That's 4 people. The stun lands, but he also gets a kill over Alto already. Hexeckles made a misuse, and that could be a shutdown for the Shen. 2 more people alive though. Corgi running it out, running back to that alcove, but looks like Kinzan is already dealing too much damage, and that's gonna be the knockup on the Shen. No shield available just yet as Kaidan picks up the kill against Levi. Great turnaround coming in from HAU.
Really good kiting there from Kinzon. Damage share nga, diba? Ang taas no damage share stat niya, and he's really showing it. So, I feel like if UPD only managed to wait for that specific item spike on Silas and pull off that play without having a botched play before that, it might have worked out for them. But the goal difference has it's a laki na eh. 7k, 15 minutes in. Third Drake is about to spawn, and UP wouldn't want to give this up for free, but I'm not sure if they have a choice because the item situation right now, may Trinity Force na si Hecarim with Warrior Enchantment, I presume.
Oh, wala pang Warrior.
Wala pa ba? Okay, so wala pa pala. So, we'll have to see, pero the odds are stacked against UPD for this third Drake.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you over there that Trinity Force is a big item to pick up, and we're talking about 16 minutes in. May Trinity Force na, may Cold Smite pa. It's gonna be hard for UPD to contest anything at this point, and they really need to step it up for the next 5 minutes before the next dragon spawns, because if they give away the Infernal Soul, it's just us giving out the game, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, proactive plays for UPD, yes, they do have the tools. There's Thresh, there's Shenton, there's Camille, but then because of this gold lead again, HAU's just free to take objectives left and right. And mukhang napipilitan lang yung UP Diliman at this point to go on that, okay, we have to turtle and scale. And it's not looking that good. I think taking a glimpse into the future a little bit, I think kailangan pag-isipan kung pwede ba't i-blind pick talaga tong Silas. I recall that they banned Oriana, which is a good blind pick for Solis for mid. They banned it against themselves, so I don't know. I feel like at this point in time, nag-iisip na ng konti si Coach Red kung paano gagawin yun.
Yeah, and the Rift Herald is used in the mid lane. This is the second Rift Herald coming in from HAU, and not only that, they've secured 3 dragons as well. Looking at the turret scores, lamang na lamang din sila. That's 4 turrets already down for the side of HAU. And for UPD, still, no turrets, no Rift Heralds, and no dragons. The objective game has really been won by HAU for the last 17, no, make that 18 minutes.
It seems like HAU is coming in really hot for the first game of this best of 5 series, no? I'm actually very impressed sa ginagawa nilang rotations. Starting from that early rotation to the first Herald. Now, parang pressure cooker lang eh. And Parzival just continuing to throw out snake bites onto Alta there. Even exhaust being burned. So exhaust, wala nang exhaust to trim down the damage coming in from that Hecarim, that Mordekaiser. We'll have to see what happens. Fourth Drake, medyo matagal-tagal pa. Baron is gonna spawn soon in a minute and a half. So the ball is on the court of HAU, and I think at this point UPD has to wait for them to make a mistake and just pounce on that.
Yeah, they have to make sure that if HAU makes a mistake in that Baron area, they try to steal away the Baron, they try to get a little bit of kills on the table, because 2-11, that is really a bad place to be when you've already lost a lot of objectives as well. If talo ka na nga sa objectives and hindi ka pa makasabay sa kills, then you will really find yourself in a tough spot. This is looking to be an already growing to a 10k gold lead. And this is bad because kadalasan 10k gold leads, alam na natin yung mangyayari doon. But Alto looking for things to be different in that bottom lane. Red Flank uses the ultimate on Krindle. That's gonna be the mace landing on his face. Just him though. That's gonna be the Hextech ultimatum, and it won't be enough to save his life. The Hecarim popping that ghost. Alto looks to be the next victim. He will just dash in. Actually, no, he won't even dash in. He's just gonna get some damage done over Alto. Zone him out of this bottom lane tier turret and wait for the next objective.
Yeah, UPD really trying to scavenge for a play here, but then if you choose to make a play, a 2v1 play on Red Blanc who's on this Mordecai, so he's just gonna death ram one of you, and mukhang wala, it's a kill and another kill into the hands of HAU, and the pressure is just spilling over once more. Two tier 2 towers down right now. Kinakain ng HAU yung jungle side, red side ng UPD. And I feel like Baron is gonna be the next play soon. So I want to see what UPD has to show at this point in the game.
Yeah. And UPD right now down already 10k. I mean,
Ooh.
9.5. That's going to be the stand United used on Solace. Onslaught of Shadows is available. And that's going to be a Parsifal landing. Actually, no, the CCs are there. And wala pang poison na bumubuhay sa kanya. He has to survive this. Oh no, the Noxious Blast lands, but the Twin Fangs will know. Get down, Levi. That's going to be one more Noxious Blast double kill for the Cassiopeia. The Twin Fangs, they hurt. And it gives Parsifal his 6th kill of the game.
How the whole team, Parzival, Red Blanc, Corgi, Kinzon, Kaidan, they are making a statement in this first game of this best of 5 series, even if it's a numbers advantage. But look, is this okay? So hook lands, but Red Blanc just flashes out. But back to the point I was making, grabe, all of the players of HAU, they are performing at the top of their games, I would say, and sabay-sabay sila eh. Sabay-sabay silang on. And that matters so much. Imagine like all of your players are just yung aura na sumasabog.
Vibing. They're just vibing.
Diba? Grabe.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Alto looking to be in trouble in front of Red Flank. The Death Realm is used. Red Flank getting a kill on Alto. It's no surprise right now. The Claw lands on Levi. Resets the passive. The Slow will land as well. Coming in from 2 champions, rather. That's 3v1. Red Flank versus the world here in the bottom lane. But the Hecarim is there. Looks like Levi looks to be the next target. Flash is fired. Cold Smite will make the Hecarim unstoppable. Solace goes golden, but to what cost? That's going to be the death of Solace in the bottom lane as Red Flank survives. The Infernal Soul is alive in the hands of HAU.
Oh boy. Death is knocking on the doorstep. Knocking on the door of UPD. 3 doors, top, mid, and bot, as Parzival gets another Petrifying Gaze. Alto tries to do what he can, but not much right now. Kinzon and Kaidan just YOLOing. Alto tries doing his best.
Alto actually
He gets a kill.
Oh no.
He gets a shutdown, but Corgi just cleans it up. Wala. First game, grabe yung performance ng HAU. It's a stomp. It's hard to play it down because Gold Lead shows it all. 22 minutes in the game, objective wise, lahat went into the pockets of HAU. Malinis. Malinis. It's hard to criticize, and UPD, I'm starting to wonder what must be going on in their heads right now. Kasi for sure, semifinals to, grabbing pressure to. First game pa lang, tapos ito yung natikman nila from HAU. It's big mental pressure, and I wonder how they will be able to bounce back from this.
Yeah, and bouncing back from this, if we're talking about this game, it's a little bit malayo na mangyari yun. But let's see if baka mag-choke yung HAU, but I doubt. HAU played really cleanly in this game. Ang ganda ng pinakita ni Parzival. Kinzon did what he had to do. I mean, he's 0-0-3, but that doesn't mean wala siya masyadong naambag. But I just have to say that Parzival and Red Flank, the solo laners, and Corgi really played well in this game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there talaga. Starting from... I think they really punished the Sylas pick really well. That's something I have to say. But on the other side, no, sa UPD, Womi, I have to throw this question to you. What do you think they have to do in terms of adjustment so they can bounce back nga.
Man, unang-una mental reset. I feel like this is gonna take a huge toll on their mentality going in this best of 5. They need to make sure that they get the next game. They, you know, you have to reset, but looks like this is gonna be the final team fight as the Onslaught of Shadows lands on 3. That's gonna be the Hextech ultimating landing only on 1. Actually, no, single target yun. So balik tayo dito sa fight. That's gonna be the... Actually, no, this is the minions just choking down that Nexus, and it's gonna be the game going to HAU.
You know, honestly, Omi coming into this best of 5, I had some bias, I guess, personal bias for UPD, pero that game was just so convincing for HAU. They were really clean, like you said, in terms of rotations, objectives, laning, punishing picks that were punishable, and even playing against the proactive plays of UP Diliman, yung warding nila pristine. And sure, nag-overextend minsan yung mga solo laners, pero they could afford to do so. Like, hindi sila namamatay, si Parzival, si Red lang, grabe.
Man, but of course, we just casted that game and sinabi mo na nga sobrang linis ng HAU, and entering this series, they will feel the confidence. And not only that, we're also reading the chat from Twitch and nakikita namin yung suporta ng mga fans ng mga Angelites, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not quite sure if Angelites yung tawag, but the Angelites in the chat right now really supporting HAU. And ang daming fans ni Parzival. So Parzival really entering this matchup in a confident manner. That's because of the support that he's getting from the Angelites. But bukod sa support, bukod sa ating mga simpleng analysis, let's go towards our analyst desk because meron na tayong analyst desk ngayon. Let's see kung mga analyst natin for this best of 5 series. So, analyst desk, let's go.
Okay. Wait, so after and thank you for casting that game one, Womi and for Zerk. We are of course the analyst desk, and you know me, you know these guys. I'm Hyron. With me are Kellogg and Ventus for this analyst desk for the semifinals game, UPD Oblation Esports versus Valiant Esports from HAU. And that was a pretty decisive first game, coming from the HAU squad there. And I think that all starts from the pick and ban. So let's take a look at that. What? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just talk about the pick and ban for the first place. What do you guys think so far? Like, that was a first pick Shen, and then everything cascades down from there. What do you think so far, Kellogg?
So the Shen first pick, we already know that Shen can be flexed into 3 roles. And we did see how answering that with Desire Rakan, which has been their comfort pick in the group stages. We do also see UPD answering that bottom lane with their own Sivir and Thresh. Sivir can match the Rakan engage or at least disengage from it, and the Rakan can play out the Rakan. The Thresh can play out the Rakan from any engage that he tries, but yeah, even if when UPD was able to get a bottom lane that's actually more favored toward them, they weren't able to execute. And HAU was able to answer with an R3 Mordekaiser. It's more of a blind pick because we don't know where the Shen would have been is still going. And yeah, I think Ventus was actually talking about a point with the next few bans that HAU is going for. Then yeah, I think Ventus wants to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Ventus.
Okay, so I think the idea with the TF and Galio ban, because how might have been afraid of the globals of UPD, so they chose to ban that out. Then I think the Camille pick was pretty okay in my opinion, but it didn't work out well for UP because they ended up getting solo killed over and over in game.
Yeah, it's actually quite baffling how of course they had a specific game plan going into Sivir in that bot lane, but the laning was really a big problem, yeah. And I think HAU was right to have respect rather for the globals in the hands of UPD, especially if in the hands of Solace, who has shown such a shining performance during the group stage and the quarters matches. And I think uh, what UPD showed here is actually like a very weak laning phase. Like the mid lane, yeah, Solace gave out a solo kill, which allowed Valiant Esports to transition that into a small lead, and after that, they just keep compounding those leads on top of Oblation Esports. So, that this first clip we're going to have actually highlights that quite well as we're going to look at.
And yeah, for this first clip, it's kind of delayed, but we do see the bottom lane of HAU already up there taking the Rift Herald. And meanwhile, Red Plank right over here is going to try and not give any plates to the UPD side. And then he just death realms everyone. And meanwhile, there's something happening in the middle lane and Petrifying Gaze coming in. So many things are happening. A top lane play from HAU is happening. The Herald is being summoned. Solus gets solo killed, and Red Plank doesn't give plates to the UPD bot lane. And I think the lead from HAU is just they really get snowballed from this play alone.
Yeah, I have to agree with the no, the rotations here. With the Mordekaiser holding their bot lane steady at bot, and how being able to get plates at top side, I have to say that UP made a small blunder there at the early game, which really snowballed into House victory.
Yeah, because at first, okay, you mid lane gets solo kill, that's fine. But transitioning that in pressure and mid lane, priority in mid lane for that Cassiopeia, and then the bot lane moving all the way top side to get that Herald while leaving the Mordekaiser was actually perfect to defend that bot lane against Thresh Sivir, which isn't super fed at that point. That's an easy defense. You attack the weaker points of the opposing team, which in this case is UPD, and you compound benefits for yourself for Valiant Esports there. And I think after that, it was just a wash with Valiant Esports just dominating later in the game. Very, very clean engages with a lot of leniency, lots of room for error because that's just how ahead they were at that point at around past 15 minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's look at our second clip actually, which is just goes to show how much Valiant Esports was actually able to get that lead. Like here, Parzival is alone, and with a very good flash, and so many resources were burned by UPD. He's still able to survive for the most part, and with a teleport, this just lets HAU assert their dominance even further.
Yeah, honestly, this team fight over here is like, I mean, small skirmish here is just basically showing how HAU is really far really ahead. I mean, at that point, and Parzival's just free to do whatever he wants, and that just shows how they got the victory in this game.
Yeah, and that all came from those small blunders in the early game that just combined together to allow HAU to get a really, really solid lead. What do you think Oblation Esports should be thinking about for adjusting in the next game, Ventus?
I really think that, in my opinion, I do like their draft and the idea behind it, but they need to work on their execution because the solo kills are just uncharacteristic by UP.
Yeah, I think there's not much else to say for that. Like, all that there wasn't like a big strategic move to get an early lead. It was just getting outplayed in the solo lanes. And like you said, yes, that's very uncharacteristic of UPD to give up those solo kills, crucial solo kills in the early game. And that opened up to the two clips we had where HAU first get a super big lead out of that small initial blunder by basically attacking one side of the map really hard while properly defending the other two, since they weren't really being pressured at that point by UPD. So it's really tough here to see, other than to tell Oblation Esports to just lane better forehead, because think about it, that's really where the things went downhill at that point. Like trading when there's committing to a trade while Valiant Esports jungler was out and about. and with no vision, no intel, that's either an individual decision-making mistake, or a miscommunication between jungler and solo laner, both of which are inexcusable in this point of the league, of Predator Alliance League. So I think Valiant Esports, they just need to uh, keep doing keep pressuring Oblation Esports at this point. If they can get momentum from this blunder from UPD, then they could go for a very, very nice 2 games, which puts Oblation Esports at check. And Oblation Esports will be back. Will have their backs to the wall if they don't get their act up in game 2. So, I think that's all that's really it is to say for this game 1 for Oblation Esports. A very clean victory from Valiant Esports. They get a small lead. They run away with a game just from that lead by really extending it. And I just do think that Oblation Esports has to adjust, has to regroup and play to their strengths in this case. What do you think so far, Kellogg?
Yeah, with the small adjustments that UPD has to make with their draft, just to maybe secure more of a lane dominance, hopefully, and that will let them pick up a win in this series. And yeah, you just have to see for the next game if they can bounce back, or will HAU keep their pressure on.
As for Ventus, like, I'm talking about our predictions actually. I predicted that UPD would go 3-1 in this, and Kellogg, I think, believed also 3-1, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's a 3-1.
As for Ventus, I believe you were the one to say 3-0.
Yeah, I actually thought that
Mhm.
it'd be a clean sweep by UP, but so I was actually surprised that they kind of fumbled the first game.
And this wasn't how I expected the loss for UPD in this 3-1 would go. Of course, assuming it's a 3-1. If Valley Esports keeps the momentum, they could potentially break the entire analyst desk prediction. But yeah, let's see. It's only the first game in a best of 5, so there's a lot of room for adjustments, a lot of room to regroup, sync with their coaches as well, and we're gonna have to see how all of that pans out. We have been your analysts for this analyst desk. I am Hyron. With me were Kellogg and Ventus, and we'll be seeing you, or rather, Womi and Berserk will be seeing you for the next game after a short break.